May thy knife chip and shatter. So considering how I am technically the official, unofficial Dune shill of the internet, there's only one word I can use to describe this trailer. Epic. So today we're going to do a trailer reaction, trailer breakdown to the Dune Part 2 trailer, which was just utter perfection. I watched it and I was like, yep, I'm back in Denis Villeneuve's world of Dune. It looks so good, man. Everything about it, like, even the fact that this film is shot entirely in IMAX, the aspect ratio of the trailer is pretty much the IMAX ratio, well, at least 16:9, because obviously regular film format is mostly 239:1 or 235:1, it varies, but that's mainly the normal aspect ratio you get for anamorphically shot films, or the ratio you see in the cinema for most films. But the fact that this film was shot entirely in IMAX and they show it in the trailer, and visually as well, great Fraser cinematography. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Let's get into this.
You dive in.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you.
Already, just from the trailer, Denis Villeneuve is doing the one thing that I was hoping he was doing, and that is exploring the relationship between Paul and Chani. Because in the book, Paul and Chani's relationship is kind of surface level, I guess. And seeing this scene in the trailer made me go, okay, cool. I don't have to really worry now. I'm just here for the ride because I know Denis Villeneuve and his writing team, they have it in hand.
In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets.
Now, I mentioned this in my last Dune video, but the image of Lady Jessica with the Fremen tribal tattoos basically being the Fremen Reverend Mother looks so cool. I love that distinction between the Bene Gesserit Reverend Mothers and the Fremen Reverend Mothers. I think visually it's such a cool design.
But the darkest of them all may remain.
Another thing too that got me really excited about this trailer was seeing Florence Pugh as the Princess Irulan basically recording her diary entries in what I'm assuming is going to be a film book, which is the device we saw Paul use in the first film. And seeing this moment in the trailer here was already something that got me really excited, because if you haven't seen my wishlist for Dune Part 2, this trailer basically ticks off a bunch of the stuff on my list, and that's just making me even more excited. Like, as a fan of the book and seeing the way Denis Villeneuve is bringing this to life, it's amazing. One thing I will say though about Florence Pugh's Princess Irulan that is a bit underwhelming for me is her hairstyle, because I'm more accustomed to and more used to, and I prefer the look of Virginia Madsen as the Princess Irulan in David Lynch's Dune. Not saying that Florence Pugh doesn't fit the role at all. I think she is going to do a perfectly amazing job. It's just that hair-wise, from an aesthetic point of view, I preferred it to be a bit more longer and styled in a more opulent way, kind of similar to how her hair is styled in like Little Women or something. This short, slick-back hairstyle is fine, but I was expecting a little bit more, you know, a little bit more panache.
The end of House Atreides.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
Oh, but Paul does. For all of you who have read Dune and Dune Messiah, we all know Paul loves revenge. There he is. There he is. My boy, my boy. Austin Butler as Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen. God, he looks good. I know I was very hesitant to the fact that Denis Villeneuve was making Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen bald, but I'm sorry. I love the way he looks in this trailer. He won me over completely. It's weird because he's bald and has no eyebrows, yet Denis Villeneuve and his makeup team has somehow managed to make Austin Butler's Feyd-Rautha look very conventionally attractive, but also in an alien sort of way. Like, that's what I just find really shocking, is how he still looks good looking, but he looks good looking in an alien sort of way. Kind of like the Harkonnen ladies in the bath scene in Dune Part 1, where they're bald, but they still look oddly attractive, and I think that look applies to Austin Butler, and it looks so good. But the big question that I have, and they didn't showcase this in the trailer, is he going to be doing the Elvis accent? Is he going to be like, hey uncle, what are we doing here on Arrakis? What about Muad'Dib? How are we gonna take him down? Because recently Dave Bautista has said that Austin Butler's portrayal of Feyd-Rautha is incredibly scary, and we see glimpses of that in the trailer. And he also mentions that Austin Butler is not doing the Elvis voice, but the thing is, can we believe him? Because ever since he filmed Elvis, Austin Butler has got a slight Elvis twang to his voice. Like, he's not doing the Elvis voice that he does in the film constantly all the time, but he does have a bit of an Elvis twang to his voice, and so I'm curious to see if that lingers and is a part of this film in some way. This trailer also highlights a lot of imagery related to the Water of Life sequence, which is a very psychedelic part of the book, and I'm very curious to see how Denis Villeneuve is going to translate that into the film, because the thing I will say about Dune Part 1 is that in terms of psychedelicness, it's not really out there. Like, there is a lot of cool and unique ideas and visual language in that film, but it's not as weird and as psychedelic as the David Lynch film.
Traveling without moving. Now I truly control the worm and the spice.
So I feel like there's like a perfect middle ground, because Villeneuve's Dune is very beautiful, very aesthetic. And so I'm curious to see how the psychedelic nature of Dune is going to appear and make its way into this film.
Father, the sleeper has awakened!
Okay, so this shot of Paul fighting what I'm assuming is a Harkonnen soldier is very cool, because the design of that armor looks very much like the weird boiler Sardaukar suits in the David Lynch film, and I think that is a really cool reference if that's the case. But this could also be a potential reunion scene between Paul and Gurney, so I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to go back and relook at Gurney's armor. It does look similar, so it could either be Paul fighting Gurney or it could be Paul fighting a Harkonnen soldier. An interesting thing I will say, and I'm not sure if I like it entirely, is that Feyd-Rautha does have black teeth, or it seems like he has black teeth, or maybe he has no teeth. I think it's black teeth, and I don't know how that's going to look throughout the entire film. In the gladiatorial arena scene that we see glimpses of in the trailer, it looks really cool because that whole sequence looks like it's being shot in black and white, and it looks visually and aesthetically interesting. But if Feyd-Rautha has black teeth throughout the whole film, I want to see how that looks on screen. A lot of the trailer does also focus on Paul riding the Sandworm, namely the Great Maker, for the first time, and just visually, it looks stunning. I know this sequence is going to be incredible in the cinema. It's going to be an incredibly visually pleasing and also auditorily pleasing experience, because, I mean, one of the things I love about the first Dune is the sound design, the soundtrack, the soundscape. Like, when the Kwisatz Haderach theme kicks in the trailer, man, just... And speaking of music, a detail I find really cool about this trailer is how they used the same music from the main trailer of the first Dune film, so I like that musical continuity. And just from the small glimpses we get from the trailer, the gladiatorial arena scene looks incredible. It's one of my favorite moments in the book. Seeing it depicted on screen with my boy Elvis Presley, Austin Butler, it's gonna be so good, man. Already the glimpses of the choreography look so intricate and precise. It very much reminds me of Paul training with Gurney, and so I think the fight choreography is gonna be stepped up in this one, and it's just gonna be epic.
You're looking for trouble? You came to the right place.
You will never lose me, Paul Atreides.
I want what they have. There's also a few lingering shots of Lea Seydoux as Countess Margot Fenring, which is interesting because in the book, it's more Count Fenring who is the more important of the Fenring characters. Like, Lady Margot is important because she's a Bene Gesserit, and she has a task to basically seduce Feyd-Rautha. Though, it's not the most upfront and apparent thing, but it seems like, judging by the trailer, they're going to delve more into that subplot a bit more, which is going to be interesting, but also... Count Fenring is the more important Fenring, so it's not like they've gender bent Count Fenring, because they can't do that, because Fenring is important because he's a failed Kwisatz Haderach and the Emperor's friend. But also, Tim Blake Nelson is supposed to be in this film, and so I'm guessing he's going to be Count Fenring. But also, this film does exclude and does not include Christopher Walken's Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, and Shaddam IV and Count Fenring are best friends. So it's curious. I don't think they've written out Fenring, but I think they've definitely downplayed him.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Okay, seeing that shot, that moment in the trailer, it not only does it look visually stunning, but also it's a very important moment from the end of the book, and it's very cool. And just seeing the way Denis Villeneuve is going to visualize that, just from that small glimpse, is going to be amazing. And just the way Timothée Chalamet delivers that, may thy knife chip and shatter, so good. Also, the blue and blue eyes look very ominous on Paul, which I love. That's a small detail where I'm like, if you've read the book, and you know the way Paul changes throughout the book, it's a very cool and interesting detail.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Again, visual storytelling, man. And speaking of the visuals, the last couple of shots we get of the trailer of Paul rallying up the Fremen and the Fedaykin. Oh my god, are they just visually stunning, man. Honestly, I needed this movie like yesterday, but just watching this trailer, man, I need this movie like tomorrow. I need it right now. I mean, like, just from the cast alone, you got Austin Butler, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Javier Bardem, Rebecca Ferguson. I just can't wait to see the interactions between Paul Atreides and Feyd-Rautha. Like, Timothy Chalamet and Austin Butler, two of my favorite working actors right now. It's gonna be amazing. This is my most anticipated film of the year. I have a feeling it's gonna be my favorite film of the year. It looks so good, so perfect. The two films I feel like are going to work perfectly together. There are a couple of tiny little nitpicks I have with it, you know, from a visual thing like Erlon's design and all that. But at the end of the day, this trailer's awesome. I can't wait to see this film. I need it. I trust Denis Villeneuve with this property, with this franchise. I hope he gets to make Dune Messiah so we get a proper Dune trilogy. This is going to be great.
Dune to cinema. Great.
But those are just my thoughts on the trailer for Dune Part 2. What did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, follow on social media, all that good stuff. Until we meet again, I'll see you guys next time. Long live the fighters!